Hello, Environmental Caucus delegates. I'm Zachary Moses, and I'm running to be Utah's next governor. I want to take a minute and make a personal video to tell you why I believe that you should support me for this position at the upcoming convention. First off, I'm a big-time environmentalist, have been my whole life. I run a global adventure travel company and actually plant trees to offset the carbon of all of my customers' flights. And then we actually do all kinds of environmental inclusion programs and environmental restoration programs. We actually started a charity this last year. It's brand new. It's hetravel.org, whose sole purpose is restoring degraded land around the planet and bringing that together for people to use. Recently, I've been selected as a speaker for TEDx Ogden. I'll be giving a performance August 22nd. You're all welcome to come to that. I'll be speaking on my ambitious plan to restore the Great Salt Lake and other western lakes in a big green energy project that actually brings Utah, California, and Nevada together in a tri-state compact to move salt water inland into the Great Basin. Now, this might sound like a crazy idea, but I've been working on this for about a decade. It started from my travels in Israel, and it moved on to other places in the world where large bodies of water that affect the weather have been collapsing due to human activity. Now, my ambitious plan will build a series of pumped hydro energy storage batteries across the West, stabilizing the electric grid, while also refilling our collapsed lakes with saline water and bringing our weather system back to standard. The plus side of this brings in a lot more fresh water, and with the green energy, we can reduce our consumption of fossil fuels. This connects in to the very ideals of what the Environmental Caucus is about: reducing fossil fuel consumption, cleaning up our air, and making our environment generally better for everyone. I know that the Environmental Caucus would also like to see us repeal the inland port. This is near and dear to me, as I actually live in the neighborhood that's zoned as part of the inland port. I believe the inland port should not happen here. If you watched from the recent earthquakes in Salt Lake City, you'll see the seismic graph, and almost every single earthquake and aftershock that occurred all occurred within the inland port boundaries. Now, this hasn't been really considered as a very seismically active area, but next to the giant tailing pond out toward the south end of the lake, there's clearly some trouble going on. So I believe this whole region should be looked at. Honestly, I'd prefer to see a 16,000 acre wildlife preserve. We're really running out of space in this beautiful valley, and anything that'll bring down carbon and clean up our air and actually increase money coming in from tourism should be considered. So again, I'm Zachary Moses. I know you've got a lot of choices, but I think you should go with someone like me who's actually looking at what's happening in our area. For instance, did you know that there's a company here in Utah called Renewology who can actually break down all plastics? They can break them down to their base components and make new chemicals and or diesel fuel out of it. Now, this sounds great, especially because they claim that they're not putting up any carbon and they've got all the VOCs down to safe levels where we're not even noticing any kind of emissions coming from this plant. Absolutely revolutionary. The issue: none of them actually process any garbage or trash or waste that's being produced here in Utah. And they're not doing it because their contracts say they can't. See, Waste Management already has a contract for our trash. And whether or not that trash is being shipped to China or buried in the landfill by the lake, we're not using homegrown technology right here in Utah. And there are some changes that need to come from the state level to make sure that these kinds of groundbreaking technologies make it into our local community. So I'm asking you, you can pick from any candidate to be in this race, but please pick the candidate who already has a track record for helping save the environment so that we can meet our needs. 1.2 trillion trees will offset almost all of the carbon from the 20th century. Utah's share of that is 416 million trees. We can do this. We can plant these and we can save our environment. Ethiopia planted 350 million trees in one single day. Climate change is a tackleable thing, and we can do it if we work together. I'm Zachary Moses, running for Utah's next governor. You can find me online at zachmoses.com. That's ZACHMOSES.com, or at Citizens for Zachary Moses on Facebook. You can find me at Zachary Moses on Twitter. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to meeting you all in person post-COVID.